Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. In today's video, we're going to talk about model signature in MLflow. So what is this? A model signature is basically an object that represents the inputs and outputs of your machine learning model. And it's a good practice to include the signature when you are logging the model. So everyone is aware of how the inputs and outputs of your model looks like. So for this video, we're gonna work specifically with column-based signature using the iris dataset. So first, let me just import MLflow and set the tracking URI. And here I'm going to import all the necessary objects that I need to create my model signature. So first is the model signature object, a schema, which will help me to create the schema for the input or the schema for the output. And then we have call specification or column specification. And here I'm just loading the iris dataset. So here we can have a glimpse of this dataset. We can see that we have 4 columns or 4 features that basically represents the shape of the flower. And the goal here, or the target, could be the species of the flower. So it's a single column, integers, I think that from 0 to 3, representing each one of the species in this dataset. Now let's talk first about the column specification, where you can create a column specification using the object called spec, right? And this is basically an object that contains metadata about your column. For example, here I can see the dictionary specifying the data type, the name of the column, and if it's required or not. In this case, it's true. Now, how do we create a schema? Where the schema should be a list of column specifications. And that's what we are doing here. I am creating this column specification list in which I am creating or specifying the specifications for each one of the columns within my dataset. And then I am creating this schema object, which takes inputs as a parameter. And inputs should be a list of column specifications. So let me create the schema for the model, for the input of this model. And now the output is easier because in this case we have only a single column. It's an integer. The name is a species and is required. So let me create this schema. And now let's see how this looks like. First, I'm going to comment this out and print the model output schema. So it's basically a list with specifications. In this case, since the output consists of a single column, the target, I only have this. But if I print the model input, I can see that now I have a list of 4 features or 4 columns. Now let's create the model signature. The model signature class takes the inputs and the outputs and creates the model signature object. Now let's print the information contained within this object. Here we can see the inputs, the outputs, and parameters. For this example, we didn't include any parameter. And now from this object we can access the inputs in this way, the outputs, and also the parameters. In this case, there are no parameters, so this is going to be none. Okay, so we have created the model signature. Let's use this signature within the model. So here I am importing random forest classifier from scikit-learn. I am creating an instance of this object and training the model. In this case, I'm using the whole dataset, but in a typical scenario, you could split this data into training, testing, and validation datasets. But since the point of the video is to showcase the signature, I'm just providing the whole dataset. Now here I am logging the model using scikit-learn flavor. I am providing the random forest classifier object, the artifact path, and there is this parameter signature that we can use to provide the model signature. So let me go to the interface to show you how this looks like. So here, I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to go to model signature. Now artifacts. And now we can see here that there is a new section, model schema, in which we have information about, well, the schema. We have the inputs, and here we can see that this model consists of 4 inputs. We have the name and the data type, and the output, in this case, the species of the flower. Just to complete this video, let me show you some predictions using this model. So let me go back to the notebook. And here, I'm going to load the model back, right? MLflow.scikit-learn.load model, and I am providing the model URI in this case. We have these runs, then we have the run ID, which is coming from this object, and the artifact path. So let me load the model, and now show you what is the data type of this object. If I print, let's say, my model dot name, we can see that my model is a random forest classifier. And now we are accessing the predict method that is contained within this class. Now let me just get the predictions, and that's all. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching it, and see you next time.